went through various things. Anyway, this is in our first kind of gallery, and you can see this kind of biomorphic structure, sort of split by a mist, another kind of fabric mist. And Veneto is known, as you may be aware of, for working with fabric in this way on these sculptures that are kind of architecture, sculpture, design, sort of biomorphic and kind of libidinally charged settings, I think. And he uses scent a lot, and it's very sensory. The whole thing is quite like an atmosphere, I think. And the class that he's doing for what at school, I'll just go back. It's called Micro Sculpture Dance. I was actually thinking of time when I was going through this of putting in a page from my notepad, which he kind of hijacked when we were having the meeting to decide what he would do for this class in the Hayward. And it's just got lots of his drawings of he was telling me about an installation he was working on, which was kind of like a giant bird. And anyway, this was a kind of amazing thing. But the way his mind works is very. You might see him improvise somehow. It's very kind of in the moment. And when you're kind of working on these enormous, complex structures with him, this kind of way of working is actually, it is present in a very exciting way. And you can kind of see, I think, that tension, that energy in the pieces. Okay, switch out that list. Oh yes, here's a nice picture. This is the plan of his show, The Edge of the World, that was at the Hayward. It's kind of nice, and you can kind of see, I think, how it really related to the architecture of the Hayward in its initial sense, which was designed by Archigram, as you may know, a group of architects in 16th Britain, who very much designed it with a tension between kind of organic structures, I think, and kind of cities. They're famous for doing kind of walking cities. And you can see that in the kind of the wood layered concrete in the gallery, I think. Okay, I'm going to keep going. Because also in the school we've got Tanya McGrath, who's come up before. She is doing a very exciting class where she's going to create a profession. And essentially she's asking people over the course of this 5 days, I think, 5 days, to create a unique profession as a direct response to a situation or scenario that participants find objectionable, which I think is a kind of lovely idea, and I'm really intrigued actually to see how this will develop in the course of the day. It's quite a kind of intimate class, but Tanya McGrath has a practice which over the years has engaged in behaviour, and she's got a school of behavioural art, and so very much linking to the themes of the school of kind of pedagogy and in this way. So it's a bit of innovation. Okay, moving on. This is Pedro Lash, and he's going to be doing a couple of classes aboard the London Eye, which is quite exciting. And so you're trapped with him for half an hour, and then you'll go to a workshop afterwards. And of the two classes, it's got vertical flaneur, in which he dons his masks and talks about kind of linearity, perception, and I think he's very interested in Greenwich Mean Time, which strangely is a topic which comes up quite a lot in the school. Rax Media Collective, who are based in India, are also doing something around the notion of time and going to Greenwich. And he's kind of doing this from the aspect of the London Eye as well, which I think has interesting in circularity, this type of thing. But he's also doing an intriguing class to be Take Me to the Top, the Fine Art of Finance, in which he discusses what's going on in financial culture with a kind of top critic and economist, essentially. So Pedro Lash from Mexico. I'm sort of going to, occasionally I would say where people, I realise I'm not really talking about where people are born and from. It's come up before that these kinds of geographical locations, where people are born, where they're working, is a sort of interesting, blurry point, perhaps. I mean, Lash, for instance, is in the United States, but comes from Mexico, and it's a question that's repeated. Anyway. Pedro Reyes, the second of the Pedros, is doing, and again from Mexico, is going to be doing a couple of workshops called Social Atom, which are designed as kind of mental warm-up exercises. A lot of the classes in the school have a practical component which sits alongside a theory element which the artist weaves into the class in kind of different ways. And this one I think is a particularly sort of physical class. It's quite nice because it comes right at the end of the school, and it's almost like, although it's a mental warm-up exercises, they're very physical. I think it's almost like a nice end of term sort of activity where people create configurations of human molecules, for instance. Pedro Reyes has done a lot of interesting projects in the past which look at kind of, for instance, a human genome project. It brought in what mayors thought their cities should do from right across the world, and this kind of looking at the city is very interesting, and is a strong kind of component of his work with society as well. I should point out there's 100 artists in this school, as I mentioned before, and I'm probably working with about 40 of them. So not all of these classes which I'm kind of going through actually directly I work with, and Yoshua Okon is one of those. But I think his project is intriguing. First of all, because he's the only artist who decided to do a one-on-one situation. His project is called the Advisory Conciliation and Arbitration, so as you can see there. And he invites people to have a one-on-one conversation with himself based around a set of questions that he frequently asks himself. The temporary office, which will be in our kind of project space at the Hayward Gallery, is named after the independent UK public body that acts as a mediator and helps to resolve problems and disputes in the workplace. Again, actually, really, I'm just thinking sort of on the spot really about this. The link with, for instance, Tanya Bruguera, and this notion of kind of professionalism,